Get those Cybermen out.
Welcome back to the Cybermen, guys. Today we have a deck profile of Android 21, the starter deck. This is Dylan's Android 21. He's been playing it for a long time. He's been tuning it for a long time. And it's funny because the other day we saw someone on the Facebook groups talking about the Vegito Unison SCR and how it's terrible, and he wanted to say he's challenging everybody to show one deck where it actually works well. So challenge accepted. That card is amazing in this deck, so have a look, see what you think, let us know in the comments if you like it. It's very strong, and if you do like Android 21, this is the build to go with. Cheers, guys.
Hey everyone, doing another deck profile here tonight. Tonight we've got one of my favorite decks that I've been playing for quite a while, probably last 3 sets, 3 metas. She got a lot of support in the anniversary box, and this leader in particular, probably not a lot of support with the next set. It looks like the set 8 leader is probably going to get the support, but she's fun nonetheless. I've seen a bunch of people talk about this deck, run this deck, and this is my take on it, and I genuinely think it's the best. It runs the most dual colors in it, and has multiple win cons, so you don't have to just worry about one thing the whole time. I've seen a lot of people who play this leader run way too many monocolor greens or monocolor blues. They try and run, Demigra Unison or anything to allow kind of like Freeze's charismatic villain counterplay and stuff like that. And it's okay, but she's not the deck to run that in. So we're going to go through what I think this deck is most powerful with, and potentially a secret rarity you guys don't use. So she's pretty generic on the front, just swing, draw 1 card, pretty useful. And then when you're at 6, you get to awaken. Now, why that is, because on the return side, the awaken side, you can't play battle cards with original cost of 6 or more, which does mean that you don't get to play a lot of good secret rares. It means you don't get to play a lot of big boss cards, so you really have to think about ways of actually winning with this deck, which is why I love it. Kind of sucks that the new 8 cost Android 17, Android 18 in the next set coming out, you don't get to play in this deck because it looks awesome. But that's a great card for the starter deck. For the set leader instead. And I'm probably going to shift over maybe to play that a little bit, but let's go through her. Why she's really cool on this side, and why I love this arc, is once per turn, when a card my energy is placed in the drop area by one of my skills, I get to draw a card, then choose 1 blue-green multicolor card and put it in my drop area. So that straight off the bat means that I get to cycle super combos, which is awesome. And then at the start of my opponent's main phase, I get to choose 1 blue-green multicolor card my energy, switch it to active mode. Again, as you can see, this is why this deck needs to run a whole bunch of dual color cards and not mono cards, because you don't get a lot of this effect if you've just got 2 green, 2 blue, 3 green, 1 blue, whatever. But she's awesome. She's really, really, really good. So to start off the deck, anniversary card, Android 17. Why he's really awesome is that even start of the turn, he comes in untapped. So if the leader card is Android 21, negate this skill's energy exhaust. However, his second ability, so his activate main, 2 blue, 2 green, 3 energy, is play this card from your energy, then play out the 3 Android cards with an energy cost of 5 or less from your energy area. We will get to why that is absolutely awesome. Now, wish this guy had deflect, but I think it would kind of make him broken. But in saying that, 7 energy is a lot, but not for this deck. So I don't know. He might be not broken. He might be balanced. I'd like him to have deflect or at least barrier or something. But 4 of him, no matter what, he's a target for leader, and he's a instant check leader. So there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't play him. One of the best SRs in this deck is 4 of this woman. Well, she's cool. Get the player. You get to look for top 5 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 blue or green Android card. So that hits your monos and it hits your duels. I run like 30 odd androids, and I think I have whiffed with her maybe 2 or 3 times out of all the times I play this deck, and it hurts. But ideally, your turn 1 play is, even if your turn 1, play her, play android, tap, play, find yourself either a Bad Omen or a super combo. And then at the end of the turn, when you play this card, activate this skill. At the end of turn, you may choose 1 blue-green multicolored card in your energy and return it to your hand. If you do choose 1 card in your hand, place it in the energy. So, why that's awesome is you get to bring back your check land for next turn and then hopefully chuck down a Bad Omen or something else that you don't want to get rid of. Now, what's really cool is that even if the second she hits the field, you get her search and you get her replay ability. So, both all those pop off on play, which means charismatic villain or whatever else, negging, doesn't matter, you still get her effect. If you keep her on board, she's pretty cool. She's a little 5k to defend your leader because you really don't care, and you want to feel you drop up as quick as possible because we run sparking in this deck, and because we cycle our and because we cycle our drops so much, you kind of want a bunch of cards there. Another staple SR for this guy: 1, he's a dual color for the Android 21, so if he's in energy, he untaps at the end of turn. 2, he helps you ramp, and we run the negates that let you ramp on your opponent's turn, which is awesome. So I very rarely actually pay 2 for this guy anymore. Most of the time I have these 2 in hand. So you negate another anniversary card. If your leader is blue Android 21, yep. I get to pick an Android 16 and play it. And so what's really nice turn 2 is having these guys, getting down to 6, letting them hit you to try go to 5, negating, playing, ramping, and ideally, because you run so much dual color in this deck, you're going to hit another dual color ready for next turn. Sometimes, I'd say 50% of the time I hit a mono color, which is really annoying, but you don't care because you can cycle them quite easily. Bloop. Bloop. I will say there has been many times I've thought to cut this down to maybe 3. Most of the time I thought about cutting it down to 2, and other times I thought about scrapping him. But every time I think and do that, this guy clutches games for me. So he's an arrival of 2 energy, so 1 blue, 1 green. Again, it's pretty heavy these days with how fast decks are going, but he's awesome. Like the amount of times people go in with 1 to 5 drops and put a Champer in them, or do whatever, just stack him up to try and hit you. And what's so great is when you play him, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards that energy costs 5 or less, place it in his energy in rest mode. Then your opponent chooses 1 card in the hand and places it in the drop area. Why it's really useful with him is I obviously run the Super Android 18 super combos, so I normally pump 2 or 3 into a combo to ruin someone's hand, play this guy to make it drop. So you're really decimating a hand, and you can stop an attack off him really good. You ideally don't want to give your opponent energy all the time, but he has clutched many games for me, and then happens to be a 25k beater for the next turn, which is great because there's not many unisons that aren't going to get sacked off 25k. So I keep 4 because he's either useful, or he's a target to be played in energy, or he's a target from my leader to be played in energy. He's just a pretty versatile card. Okay, one of the few cards that actually let us get a leader effect off. So if you happen to not have a Bad Omen in your energy, or you happen to not have my Secret Rare Unison, which I will talk about at the end, this guy lets you sack a multicolored energy to your drop area to play him for free. Your leader then brings essentially that energy or any other energy back in rest mode, and then you get to draw a card and at the end of the turn untap it. So you got to have 4 of him because 1, he's a dual color for target from drop and from energy, but also he's one of the ways to get this leader off. Once his leader's awakened, it doesn't draw unless you start hitting it once per turn, so you need as many targets as possible. Probably the MVP of this deck by an absolute mile is this Bad Omen 21. Awesome card, and I can see why she got reprinted for the new set. First of all, she's dual color, so she fits perfectly in this deck. She's a target for your Android 18, so ideally your turn 1 play is play 17, tap it, play, search for her or a super combo if you already have her in hand. End of turn, return the check land back to your hand, chuck this, go and rest. Perfect turn 1. Why she's so great is if you tap 2 green and 2 blue, including her as energy, bloop, you get to choose 1 card in energy and place it in the drop area. So she allows our leader's effect to go off. You do lose 1 energy, but you don't care because you get energy back and ramp like it's nobody's business. So you don't care about losing 1. And then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and 1 card in your opponent's life and place it in the drop area. Why that's really good is that's not KOing and it's not warping. You literally just get to play. So that hits the new 6-drop Vegito. That hits anything that says it can't be KO'd. Doesn't hit indestructible, sadly, but it hits a lot of annoying cards. And obviously critting a life is absolutely amazing. I have used her in the middle of the game just to crit opponents, but ideally she's a win con. You want her off this fellow, so when he gets to tap 3, you want to play 3 of her out, so ideally 7 energy and burn 3 life. I've had someone at 5 energy before, 5 life before, tapped to burn them down to 2, swung at them and thrown down 3 super combos to remove their hand and just got off the last 2 life. So you don't always have to use her as a kill, but she is very effective nonetheless, and probably one of my favorite cards in this deck. While I like this fellow, again, if you're top decking for whatever reason and you just need the 4th energy to burn the last life, you got him if you pick him up. He's a target off the Android 16 to be placed in the drop area the next turn. He's a combo. If you happen to have him in hand and a bunch of energy and need a combo, you can combo him off to protect leader. He just does a lot. He's pretty useful to have, and I would run 4 again because you need a lot of dual color in this deck. And of course 4 of these, because theoretically you can have like 12 of these. Like, so essentially you can play all 4 because you can get them back in energy. You can get them back to your hand with 4 of your Android 18s. You can then get them back. I think I got 3 of them, so 3 with Red Ribbon Army. And then you can get them back with this guy too. So I technically think that's 11 for me. So yeah, she's great in the sense that it just makes you discard. I never have an issue if it's like turn 1 or turn 2 and my opponent's sitting at like 5 or 6 cards in hand, sometimes less. And I'm swinging into something I really don't want to care. I'll throw 3 of these down just to kill their hand, because I know that with mulligan, especially if my opponent's, only put 1 card back from a melee, I know that they've got all their pieces in hand. So after searching, and I've got 3 or 4, 2 or 3 or 4, I'll just throw it down and make them start again, because I'm really not swinging at life particularly very often at all. So they're not getting any cards from me for life. They have to draw and most likely charge next turn, so they're really not doing well with their life. With their hand size. While I like Roshi, choose one. So when you combo with him, although choose 1 multicolor card in your energy, return it to his hand, and then when you combo with this card, choose 1 card in your hand, place it in rest mode. So he just gets super combos back or anything else that I need. Really, really useful. A little 5k for my leader. Great card. Little rare. I don't normally have a lot of battle cards on board. If I do, I normally combo them off very quickly to get them in my drop again, because I run sparking and I want multicolor in there so they can come back to my energy and untap. So it's really useful just to tap 1 energy and have a 20k crit on board. Really useful considering I can normally have it by turn 2. And again, it feeds into the factor that I do not want to give my opponents cards in hand. So if I'm ripping them apart with super combos or even chucking on board, swinging 20k crit, making it a 30k crit for them to discard, they're not going to combo out of that, and it's just ruining hands, which is awesome in my opinion. This is one of the most underrated starter deck cards I've ever seen. So you can tap 1, activate main, draw a card, perfect, just replaces itself. But when it's in the drop area, choose 1 blue-green multicolored card in your energy and add it to your hand, then remove this card from the drop area from the game, choose 1 card in your hand, place it in energy. So again, just recycles my super combos for free, plus already replacing itself from the draw, activate main. It's awesome. There's so many times like turn 4 or 5 where I just need to get stuff from my energy back to my hand, and I've had 2 or 3 of these just sitting in the drop, and I just remove, and get it all done. It's an amazing card. Probably now to, I think, the continuing of the extra cards. This guy's alright. He's nice just to kind of add to the crit or to kind of finish off a game. There's a lot of times where I just need to get 1 energy done and just use it. So I'll just swing and draw off this and then use the energy. But I don't run too many because you don't need it. And it's good for defense too. I prefer to run internal shift to a Weiss or something like that, purely because it lets me negate, obviously. Then the opponent reveals the top of their deck. So if they're stacking the deck for whatever reason from other cards, you interrupt that. 2, if it ends up being a battle card, I get to choose up one of my energy and one of my battle cards and switch it to active mode. Now, why I like that is because I want my multicolor cards in the drop. When people turn them to rest, I don't always kill them because I don't want them in my drop. So if I get to negate, hit a battle card, untap an energy, untap one of my dual color, I then can tap it on the next attack to chuck it in my drop area and make sure that I have them in my drop area. Doesn't always happen, but it's a negate on top as well as maybe other effects, which I'm pretty happy with. I just run 2 Sensu, don't always need it, and a lot of the time it's nice to just kind of charge or just to pump something, like maybe my crit, but it has allowed me sometimes to just untap that last energy I needed to make sure that I was going to secure a win, so it'll probably never come out of this deck. It'll always shift between 2 or 3 Sensus. I then run 4 Dimension, absolutely no reason why you wouldn't. Fantastic card, and like I said, sparking can be difficult sometimes because of the way you're manipulating your drop, but I'll always run 4 of these. Now, Bad Omen's one of the main win cons. The Android 17 in conjunction, I suppose, and in conjunction or just by itself is also a win con. This guy in particular is a win con. The amount of times my opponent has just built a board beyond belief and I slap this guy down and wipe it and start swinging with 25k crits, double strike, is very good. He's won me a lot of games. I remember one locals, I won I think I won with my Secret Rare one game. I won with my Android 17 playing 3 Bad Omens one game. I won one game by playing repeatedly Bad Omens turn to turn to turn. I won another game by playing this guy. So he'll always go between 2 or 3 in this deck too. But it does suck charging him off at Android 16. I don't like doing that. So yeah, great card though. Now, best Secret Rare in this deck by an absolute mile. Because she cannot play battle cards 6 or more, it pretty much wipes out the majority, like 99% of Secret Rares, apart from the Dark Dragon Balls, I believe. And I think these are the only 2 that can actually play. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But this is an amazing card. You do not care about its plus minus 0 one bit. I hear so many people online talk about how bad this card is because you can't get this effect, and who cares? Like this is a turn 1 25k with 2 markers on it. Like I would love for you in any other deck, regardless, to waste your hand trying to kill 2 markers on this thing. But why this guy is so amazing in this deck, right? Is by turn 2 I can have 3 energy. Okay, so I can swing with leader, draw a card, tap, and by then, like, I could probably play my, Kamehameha or something to whatever, then draw another card, use my leader to awaken, have 3 energy, draw, so I've just drawn 3 times. Tap all 3 to play this guy down, have 3 markers. Now I'm awakened, tick him up to 4, chuck all of my super combos back into my energy. So let's go dump, 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 and then let's just say, these are in there, whatever. Cool, okay? So let's say leader, swing, tap, sells Kamehameha. So draw, sells Kamehameha, awaken, bloom, draw, untap. Cool, end of combat, right? Tap 3 to play this amazing boy, okay? Then tick him up to put 1 card in the drop. He has to replace that card that you've put in the drop. But because now you've triggered leader says when you put a card in the drop, multicolored card in the drop, draw a card, boom. So you've just gotten 4 cards for 1 turn, and then put a multicolor back. He's a free ramp every time you activate his effect. And now, at turn 2, he is 4 markers and a 25k swing that you can smack any unison or boss card that you don't want. He might go down to 2 or 3 markers, but at the end of turn, you untap 1. You almost always have a negate in hand, because I think I run like 9 to 10 of them. And then if they say they get him down to 3 markers, great, untap. At this point, depending on what you're trying to do, if you're not trying to play Android 17, you draw, you don't charge, you play 1 for whatever, you activate his ability, and then you bring 2 more back. So you're stacking your hand beyond belief. This guy's getting markers all over the shop, and he's a big 25k swing into anything. He's not a bad SCR. Like it's just people aren't utilizing him correctly. He's amazing in this deck. I would love to see this leader played a lot more. She's really fun. She has a lot of different tech. She has a lot of different ways that you can win games with, and she's just really fun. Like I've beaten Black Broly with this. I've beaten Red Broly with this. I've beaten Shin with this. I've beaten Cell Surge with this. I've beaten a lot of different decks quite consistently. Like it's not by any means a top meta deck at this moment, but it holds its own and it's very fun. And most of the time, people don't know what you're doing. But what's really great is that the deck makes you think. Like it's not a helmet. You really have to sit back and be like, okay, I have to use this energy to make sure that I can then use that to then bring that back. Like it's really fun. It makes me feel like I'm playing a bit of Magic and Dragon Ball, which is really cool. Give her a go. The deck list will be up. I think this is one of the better builds for it and the better way to utilize her. But let's see what the next set brings for her in the other leader, and let's have a bit of fun with her. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.